Hi guys, it's Mark here from the Barbecue and Brews Show, here live in Meatstock, Sydney, and I've got Paul from Goodwood Quality Meat.
In Adelaide, South Australia.
I don't know. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks very much, mate.
I just really wanted to get a perspective of what butchering is like, and what you're doing here today at Meatstock.
Okay, so I've been a butcher for near on 40 years, and I'm a whole carcass butcher from Adelaide. And what I've been doing here today at Meatstock is I've been doing lamb masterclasses, so presenting and breaking down the carcasses for the people in the crowd. And also I competed in the Butcher Wars, whereas you're giving a saddle of lamb, a side of lamb, a saddle of pork and a knuckle of beef, and you have 45 minutes to break that down, put it into value-added products, and then display it on a display like as you would in the shop.
Yeah.
So
breaking down that full carcass to me was just amazing to watch.
Yes.
So what sort of knives do you use? That like watching the guys do it. It's just
well, like me myself, I like to use Victorinox knives,
yep.
and Victorinox knives are good bang for your buck.
Yep.
One of those lasts me about 6 months. So if a knife like that would last me 6 months, it would last you years.
Forever.
Yeah, and they're great, but
yep.
I can't actually think what it would be like to be a whole carcass butcher.
Yep.
To get something out of the bag, because I love to see the carcasses come in the shop and to select the meats and stuff like that. That's it's one of the joys of my job.
So when you're doing it, is this sort of like your favourite cut or a best cut that you like to do for yourself?
If I was to do a favourite cut for myself, especially in beef, I'm a T-bone man.
Yep.
And I love the flavour of the bone, and I love the fat that runs down in between the fillet and the porterhouse, and it does me every time.
Yeah.
But but I'm a wog and I love lamb.
Yeah.
Lamb
is good.
Lamb does me every time. It's fantastic. Yeah, so it's a very enjoyable job being a butcher.
Yeah.
Definitely. Long hours, dirty work, but very enjoyable.
Well, you're a third generation, right? So you've been doing it for, I don't want to say how many years, many years.
Yeah, close on 40 years now. So, I'm an AMIC Master Butcher.
Yep.
So, there's not many of us left in Australia now. And so I'm also a qualified small goods maker.
Yep.
and a qualified trainer and assessor as well. So
with the training and assessing, what do you do in that?
So what that does is that means that I can teach other apprentices.
Yep.
I can pass on my knowledge through TAFE
to
so that the next generation of butchers will contain some of the skills that I have,
yep.
that I was lucky enough to be taught by some of the what I consider to be master butchers of the trade.
So growing up, you sort of learned from your parents, but also do you do sort of classes as well, or is it all just from your family?
Yes, sir. So growing up, I was lucky enough to have an old shop. I was working in an old shop and I was an apprentice, and all the old fellas persevered with me and trained me in the ways of butchering, because I was a bit of a wild child, and they taught me everything, and I'm forever thankful for that as well.
So what did you do wrong when you're young? They persevered.
Never turned up on time. Always forgot my tie. Just general young person stuff. Nowadays I'm a little bit more forgiving of our apprentices when they're running a wee bit late. But never them. They were always on time.
So if you hear that, apprentices, it's okay if you're late.
Just a touch late, not too late. Definitely. But butchering's changed a hell of a lot from when I started. When I started, it was all sides of lamb, and there was no value adding and everything else, and it's now become really full circle. We went through the value adding stage with stir fries and all those sorts of things, but now we come back to the more traditional cuts, and that's what I love. And so in our shop in Adelaide, we have a mixture of traditional and value added cuts, and people seem to really like that, as well as we make all our own small goods on site. So not only do we make our hams and about 3 or 4 different bacons, we're also making prosciuttos and our own pancettas and stuff like that. And so we're all going through getting the accreditation to make sure that we can provide these services for our customers, which is wicked. I love the smell of it, Black Forest hams and pancetta and everything like that. Yeah.
Well, that's one thing, just going into your local butcher, just the quality again is the next level.
It is.
For people doing sort of your low and slow at home, you really want to start with good quality meat. That's the number one thing.
That is, everything starts with a quality product, and and once you've got a quality product, you can create a great meal. Because you've got the basics right there, and that's what we try and provide, and we try and do sustainable products. We know where all our beef comes from. It comes from a small little farm in Wollonga. All our chicken is free range from from Barossa Valley, and so we try to be really regional and we buy off the same people all the time because we know that the quality is going to be there.
Yeah.
And not only that, you know, the staff love what they do, and so that, you know, you've got half the battle won there. Yeah.
And so if someone comes in and they've just bought their first smoker, and they come to you and say, well, I bought a smoker, what do I cook? What would you recommend to them?
Lamb shoulder.
Lamb shoulder?
Lamb shoulder or pork neck, you know, like we're lucky enough to have a Caleb Sunquist that's in secondhand smoked barbecue team, and he will talk to you for hours and hours about how to get the perfect, you know, like how to cook it perfectly. I'm a bit of an amateur cook myself, you know, so I don't mind explaining to people how to cook it, but like, oh my God, you know, like we're very lucky to have Caleb, and he talks people how to do it. And he also teaches barbecue at Scoff Cooking School in Adelaide.
So you said you were doing that as well. You're teaching, right?
Yeah, that's right. So me and Caleb, we run a barbecue butchering class. So what we do is we do a whole carcass butchery. So we break the carcass down, and then we also have the cuts cooking. That we prepare. So, you know, like we break down the lamb, we got the shoulders cooking there, so people can see like what they can do.
Amazing.
Yeah, and for the people that enjoy that and then would like to take it to the next level, in the shops on the weekends, just on Sundays, we run a one-on-one butchery class with people. So they'll come in and they'll buy a side of lamb and they'll get a brand new knife, and then they'll prepare that side of lamb themselves under like the guidance of us, and then they will take everything home. So this gives them knife skills. It gives them knife skills and gives them knowledge. And once you've got that, you know, like it's a great present. Lots of, especially around Father's Day and things like that, lots of people buy that for their dads.
You did touch on knife skills. That's one of the key things, right? You start getting these big cuts of meat, and you're not sure how to cut it or where to cut it. And so just that sort of knowledge is really fantastic. You can sort of teach that to somebody.
Oh, it is. In the past, you know, pre-COVID, we used to have chefs that come along and they would come into the shop and they'd say, can you try and teach me knife skills?
Oh, really?
Because like chefs don't have the knife skills that we do. And so there was a French restaurant down the road, and the chef used to come along and we'd give him a 4/4 of pork and he'd have a play around with it for quite some time. And so that he could understand the cuts and knife skills.
So what's sort of the weirdest request you've got from a customer that's come to the store?
Oh man, I wish I could say just one off the top of my head. You know, we get so many crazy people that come in, you know, like, what is it?
There's too much meat on my ribs. Take the meat off the top.
No, it's not just that. It's, you know, like the demands of customers sometimes is incredible. You know, like what they would like you to do. You know, like So we just did Orthodox Easter, so that was very interesting because they have some crazy products they do. You know, all the intestines and everything else.
Oh, okay, so you do full carcass. You do everything.
We do it full carcass. Yeah. So we get, you know, full lambs in, pigs, and then full sides of beef and stuff like that. And so we go from there.
So one of my buddies, so I'm going to call him out, Josh Craig Dixon, keeps telling me I should get lamb flaps. He keeps telling me it's the cheapest cut of lamb and I should get it, but I keep being too afraid to ask for it.
Well, the thing is, I had someone phone me up the other day and they said they're searching for some cheap lamb flaps for their dog, and I said, well, there's no such thing as lamb and cheap. It doesn't go it doesn't go in a sentence, but like we get lots of people that do lamb ribs, you know, like, and we provide them for quite a number of people. So when we cut the loins off and we do our racks, you've got the beautiful lamb ribs, and once you know how to cook them properly and render that fat down, I think it's one of the sweetest cuts of all.
Lamb ribs are delicious.
So we do those in our barbecue classes.
Oh, okay.
So we always like cook up a lunch afterwards, and we always do
hot and fast and
do lamb ribs, them and wings and everything else like that. And we after they finish the class, it's a beer and a feed.
Oh, hang on, beer and lamb. You got
beer and a feed. You know, like can it get any better? That's for sure. It's awesome.
Now you're in a book. I've seen the
yes.
The Butcher's Cookbook.
So it was a bit of an honour. About a year or so ago, I'd heard about the book, and then Shannon Walker came to me and he said, "Would you like to go in the Butcher's Cookbook?" You know, like, and it was a real honour to be asked to go in it, and so I submitted my recipes and they came out, they took some photos, and it was...
so how did you pick just one?
It was a bit of a toughie, you know, so it had to be a product that I actually came up with. And so that's what I did. I did a stuffed chicken, which is a green slaze chicken from Barossa Valley, and I'd stuffed it with bocconcini cheese, sun-dried tomato, fresh basil, and pancetta, and it's absolutely amazing. And then we got the books in, and like for about 3 weeks, we did not sell one book.
Oh, really?
We didn't sell
They've disappeared now off the shelf. You can't get them.
I know, and I was really worried because I thought, what's my mum going to do with 80, with all these books, you know? Like, she's going to hand them out to her friends.
All the kids, grandkids.
Yeah, and then suddenly, like one day, someone brought one, and because I've been working in this shop where I am for over 20 years, people were like buying them, and I had to write them out for their kids because I've been giving these kids Fritz for like 20 years and stuff like that, you know, like, and so within 2 weeks we'd sold out, and I was so worried, you know, like, because I couldn't look at my boss in the face because suddenly we had this massive pile of books. So like, in saying that, we're now in the next book as well, which is quite good, and I've submitted my recipes.
Do we know what your recipes are? Or you submitted
what I've done is I've done a completely whole boneless chicken, which I make a stuffing except for the drumsticks, and then I've tied that up, and then I've wrapped it in the Spanish pancetta that I make myself, and then that's roasted, and then. Yeah, then we've got also a French pastry chef that works at our work, and Vincent, he makes amazing products, and he's done a beef bourguignon pot pie.
Oh, that sounds good.
And that's his contribution.
Oh, that's great. So you got another one in the book, right?
Yeah, so we've got 2 recipes in the book,
that's
and so
it'll sell off the shelf. Get it when you can.
Oh, one could only hope. You know, like I've still got customers coming in asking me, can I get one of the books? I'm saying, oh, I haven't seen one of those books in such a long time.
They're nowhere. We keep looking, trying to get. Otherwise, you can't get them.
I know, and you know, and people are really worried. Can we sell these books? But people love them.
Oh, it's fantastic, right? And again, to get the perspective from a butcher, right, which is again different than say a chef.
Yes,
right?
that's exactly right.
And the things and ideas you guys come up with, you saw that intimate knowledge of the cut of meat and what you can do. Yeah. It's just something a bit different.
Yeah, that's true. About a year or so ago, we had this couple, and they were from Victoria, and what they'd done is they would go to all the butcher shops that was in the book. And then they would get so they had followed, they were on a butcher's cookbook tour, and so they would come in the shop and they would meet the person that was actually in the book, get them to sign it, and buy some products. They're in a camper van and they were having a great time. They're an old retired couple that love cooking. And that you know, they came in and they chatted to me for a bit, and it was amazing. You know, like it was lovely to meet them. That's for sure.
Well, that's one of the things, like, you know, getting to know your local butcher is a really key thing, right? Because if you walk in there, you have a chat to them, they're very knowledgeable about all their cuts, and they can help you out. And that's what they're for, right? It's not just, it's not like a supermarket where you just take it off the shelf or just go, give me what's in the window. You want to have a chat and say, look, this is what I want to do. I'm cooking for this family. What can you do? You know?
I've worked where I work for around 25 years, and so, you know, like we provide a personal service. You know, I've been to customers' weddings, I've been to the funerals, you know, like, and everything else like that. And we're a community, and we try to support the community, and the community supports us.
That's a big word, community, right? It's all about sort of giving back and helping. And
it is, you know, like, and I see kids now coming into the shop with their children. I say kids. They were kids when they came in, and now they bring in their children. And as I said to a girl the other day, she came in, she had a daughter, and her daughter was on the counter, and I was giving her a slice of Fritz, which is like a Devon sausage that we make. I said to her, do you know about 25, 30 years ago, I said, your mum used to stand in the same spot, and I used to give her Fritz. And her mum started crying because she said, you know what? She said, that's so true. And the young girl thought it was hilarious, you know, like, and mum used to come in, and the same butcher was here, you know.
Well, I think it's changed. Like, technology's changed, the way we get meat changed. But at the same time, as you know, has technology changed butchering?
It has. You know, things have changed. Things have gotten so much more expensive than when I started. You know, meat is not a cheap thing anymore. So we try to pay homage to the animal by using everything that we've done, and the new products that are available to us now to create using these products. But in a sense, butchering is still the same. It's all about quality. It's all about, you know, like tradition and everything else like that. That's what I try to base myself on.
Well, that's like the low and slow thing for me, right? The price you sort of talked on. Like if you go to the supermarket, you know, all the prime cuts are there, but you go to the butcher and you get your things like, you know, brisket, right?
Well, you get your secondary cuts,
and they're amazing, right? And if you cook them right, they're better.
Like secondary cuts have exploded in popularity. You know, like things like oyster blades now become flat iron steaks and things like that. People are doing chuck roast rather than a topside or a bowler roast. You know, like the briskets. You know, like people that you would never think that they were going to make burgers now. So I'm going to use a mixture of chuck and brisket mince. Whereas before they would have used the topside mince and went, wow, these are dry as. And so it's just incredible how people have turned to the secondary cuts, which is awesome. You can't buy lamb shanks or oxtails for love nor money, you know, it's crazy. And I even have people coming in and experimenting with tongues and smoking tongues and making tongue pastrami and stuff like that. You know, like, from a beef tongue, we brine doing it for them. And shanks, beef shanks, pastrami. You would never have seen this 10 years ago. But, you know, like, they follow the trends that, you know, like, on the barbecue scene, they come in. Some people have some crazy requests. And I'm more than happy to do them, you know. Like, trust me, I'm more than happy to give them a go, you know, like, and see the results. It's a lot of fun.
So, you know, where can we find you?
Well, anyway, so we're in a shop just out of Adelaide, and it's called Goodwood Quality Meats. And we're lucky enough to have the only shop in Australia with 2 master butchers in it, and every person that works there is a qualified small goods maker or a qualified pastry chef. And we do whole carcass butchery, and we're right into the paddock to plate philosophy.
Which is amazing, right?
Yeah,
so that's
it is.
Something.
Yeah, so, you know, like, and love being a butcher, and I love serving my community, and and I love coming and supporting events like this.
Oh, look, Meatstock's been amazing, and again, the Butcher Wars. If you guys ever see that, it's amazing to watch the guys how quick they can do it. It scares me.
Oh yeah, the Butcher Wars is a you know, like Jay and Shannon and that have given the butchering industry a really big profile, because people thought that butchers was a very low trade. And so what we do is come to Butcher Wars and we showcase our skills and our craft to people that have never seen us at work before. And people are amazed, absolutely amazed that people contain these skills. You know, like, and hopefully today everyone, you know, does a great job.
If you haven't seen it, get online and have a check it out.
Oh, for sure.
Just, you know, watch them just how quick they pull it apart, and then they pull out a big saw. It's like, all right.
Oh, definitely. You know, like, but you know your knives and stuff like that, and you know how far you can push them. You know, like, it's people that are untrained that you get into.
You lose a finger.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, you don't want to have one of these.
Right?
But that's an apprentice mark. That is. Yeah, definitely. Anyway.
But thanks for your time again, Paul. It's been amazing to have you on.
Look, like, it's been an honour for you guys to come along and approach me and ask. You know, like, it's really lovely, and thank you so much for spending the time to chat to me.
Great, nice.
Cool, man. Awesome.
Thanks, guys, and we'll catch you next time.
Thank you very much. Awesome.